Welcome to Module 4, Lesson 12 in Eureka Math. We're back in Eureka Math for 3 days this week, working on some more awesome geometry. Now, if you have not seen the video that I recorded reading the book Seeing Symmetry here on Canvas, you might want to stop this video and you might want to go and listen to my read aloud first. If we were in the classroom, I certainly would have read that first thing this morning to you before jumping right into this lesson. So it's up to you. If you feel like you're ready to jump in right now, go for it. But if you'd like to hear me read the book, it's really awesome. Go ahead and stop this video and come back to it after you've heard me do the read aloud. All right, if you're ready to jump in, let's go for it. Today our I can statement is, I can recognize, identify, and draw lines of symmetry for 2D figures. So we're only working with two-dimensional shapes, not with 3D shapes. So what is symmetry? Well, symmetry is something that we are actually really familiar with in our everyday lives. Believe it or not, you recognize it more than you realize. Symmetry is where an object, if you imagined that it was folded over, that it would have a mirror image of itself. And a line of symmetry is that line where you would fold it. So to show you, I told you that you were going to need a couple of items from your Learn book for this lesson. So this is actually your application problem. We're going to do it together. And this is page 85 in your Learn book. So pause me if you need to go ahead and pull that out. And what I did was I just folded it hot dog style, just like this. Let me do that again. I took it and instead of folding it like this, I folded it like this. And the directions in our application problem say that we're going to cut along the dotted line on the template and unfold the figure. So you can do that with me. I'm going to cut along the dotted line. And I'm going to see what happens when I unfold the figure. Okay. If it will unfold. All right. Ta-da, look at that. Well, what I notice is that there's a line going straight down the middle of this figure where I folded it. And when I fold it back, nothing's hanging out. Each side is a mirror image of the other. And so the line that I folded it on is actually called a line of symmetry. So this is the line of symmetry. And I know you see a little bit of this hanging off. Don't worry about that. That's just happens when you pull a page out of a book. So the line that I've just drawn down the middle is called the line of symmetry. It's dividing the shape exactly into two parts that match up when you fold them together. Now I'm going to look and see if there's another line of symmetry on this shape. If there's another way to fold it, and this is actually a pentagon because it has 5 sides. Is there another way to fold this shape so that I get a mirror image on both sides? Let's try. Do those match exactly? No way. What about diagonally? Nope. This line that's vertical, going up and down through the shape, is the only line of symmetry that this particular pentagon has. So we can see from this a definition of the word symmetry. Symmetry is a line that can be drawn in a shape, and it divides that shape into 2 mirror images. All right, well, let's get going with our lesson today. In your lesson, you also have a template on page 91. So we're going to go ahead and turn to that and take a look. And I'm going to get out a ruler, a straight edge, just because this really does help me to see the lines of symmetry a little bit more clearly. I'm going to grab a marker to help me do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at these shapes and we're going to see if we can identify some of the lines of symmetry in these different shapes. Now, the thing I love about this that you'll notice is that we've got some letters, we've got shapes, we've got things we see in real life. So yeah, pretty cool. We've got lots and lots of different things that we could probably see symmetry in our real life, everyday experience. You're probably already thinking right now, oh yeah, I've already seen this before. I've got some butterflies right now that my kids and I are hatching, and we're going to let them go in the next day or two, and they've got a line of symmetry. So let's talk about that. All right, let's look at the letter A. I can position my straight edge going straight down the middle. Now it's important that I do it right here at the point of the A, and I can see that I've got a line of symmetry here. Each side is a mirror image of the other. Take a look at the smiley face. Where do you see a line of symmetry? If you said right between the eyes, you're exactly right, and you have a line of symmetry on your face right between your eyes as well. If I divided this face across, I wouldn't have exactly what I have here, because the eyes and the mouth, well, they're not the same. So in a face or in a smiley like this, the only line of symmetry is between the eyes. What about the heart? Well, I can draw a line of symmetry straight through it, just like that. Now let's check the H. This one's going to be a cool one. If you're thinking that you could draw a line of symmetry straight through it, up and down, well, you're exactly right. Mine is a little bit off, but you know what I'm doing. Is there another way that I could fold this H and get a line of symmetry? If you said going horizontally, you are exactly right. This shape is the first one that we've come to that has two lines of symmetry. Now, it's really hard for me to see exactly where I'm drawing this line, but I think once again you get the gist. If I draw it right here and I were to fold the bottom up to the top, they would match exactly. All right. I want you to keep going and try a few more of these on your own. I'm going to give you a second and see what you can do. All right, I'm going to come back. Let's see if we can identify any more lines of symmetry in the star. Now, take a look at that. Do you think that one's just going to have one line of symmetry? I'm going to grab another couple colors of pins because I think that's going to help you see these. Well, I definitely can draw a line of symmetry going up and down through one point of the star. I wonder if I could do that for all of the points of the star. Sometimes it helps when you're looking at shapes to turn them a little bit, and then all of a sudden you have that aha moment and you go, oh, wait a second, I see that again. I see I've got another line of symmetry, and you're exactly right. This one looks just like that one did. Now I'm seeing it differently. Okay, so I have one line of symmetry I drew in purple, one I drew in pink. Let's see if I keep turning that shape. There's another one. Look at that. And for all of you guys who have colored pens at home, this is a great day to use them. All right, I've got a third line of symmetry. But I bet I can keep going. There's another one. And I've got another point that I can draw through. Check it out. Now, what we would say about this star, we're going to count the number of colors that we have drawn through it with, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you don't have colored pens, colored pencils would actually be fine on this too. But I could say that this shape has 5 lines of symmetry. These 3 each had 1, and this H had 2, but I didn't think about using 2 colors until I got to the star. So maybe you can go back and use 2 colors on your H. All right, what about the hand? Do you see any way to fold that hand and give it a line of symmetry? If you drew right down the middle, would your thumb have anything to match? You can see on my own hand that there's no line of symmetry on my hand, so I'm going to put no. For the butterfly, there's one line of symmetry. going straight through the butterfly's body. And this is important in nature. Lots of animals have lines of symmetry, and that's so they can move perfectly. If this butterfly had two different sized wings, it wouldn't be able to fly. So that's why symmetry is really important. Same with the lobster right here. I'm going to draw a line of symmetry right through his body. And I could fold this lobster up on himself, and without having a line of symmetry, this lobster would probably have a hard time getting around. What about this cool arrow? Anybody see a way that I could draw a line of symmetry in the arrow? It kind of looks like I could draw a line like this. The only thing that would be a little bit weird is right here. I'm not sure. I don't think, because this side bumps out and this side bumps in, I don't think that's going to be a match. And then same for my car. I'm going to take a look. A lot of people would say, I could just draw one right here. Well, yes, but would I have an exact match? My wheels would match up, but look at my windows. They don't look exactly the same. They are not mirror images of each other. All right. So I'm done with this template. I'm going to come back to these figures at the bottom, but let's talk for just a second about lines of symmetry in some common shapes. So I want to show you a few different shapes that we would come to in real life, and we're going to talk about the number of lines of symmetry in them. So if you don't have these things at your house, that's okay. I want you just to watch me, because these are really important, and these are the ones that you're going to see quite a bit in different exercises that you do with symmetry. So let's take a look at this shape. This shape is a rectangle, and it's a quadrilateral, which means it has 4 sides. I know that this shape actually has pairs of perpendicular lines because it has 4 right angles. This is all stuff we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks. Now, one thing to notice about this rectangle is that it has 2 pairs of sides that match. And this is going to be really important when it comes to figuring out how many lines of symmetry this rectangle has. So I'm going to see if I can find a line of symmetry on this rectangle. You're probably already thinking right now, oh, I see one. And if you have an index card at your house, you know, I've got one I've written my kids' information on, then you guys are welcome to take a look at that, and you can see if you can fold it like I am. I'm going to fold my rectangle and see if I've got a line of symmetry going through it. I can make a mirror image, and I can. I'm just going to draw a dotted line here so I don't mess up the word rectangle. All right, so that's one line of symmetry in this shape. And I'm also thinking that I could probably fold it again vertically. Okay, there we go. So either way, I've got a line of symmetry. So this rectangle has one line of symmetry going horizontally and one going vertically. Is there another way that I could fold this shape? Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh yeah, Miss Isley, there is. You could fold it vertically. Now, you're going to see this, guys. This is a trick. You cannot fold a rectangle vertically. You want to know why? Because it's got 2 sides that are unequal length. So this is kind of one of those big that you need to know. A rectangle can only have 2 lines of symmetry, one going vertically and one going horizontally. If I try to fold that rectangle like this, look what happens. I get a peak, I get 2 peaks of mountains. So I'm thinking to myself, a rectangle only has 2 lines of symmetry. 1, 2. People are going to try to trick you with this, I can promise. Now, what about a square? Now, what's different about a rectangle and a square, guys? What's different is that the square has 4 sides of exactly equal length. So a square is similar to a rectangle in that it also has 4 right angles. It's got lines that are parallel here, lines that are parallel here. The rectangle did too. I see parallel lines here, parallel lines here. However, the square has sides that are all equal. This makes a big difference in the lines of symmetry that a square has. So let's try a square. And this is just a Post-it note. So once again, if you have a Post-it note at your house, pause the video, go get one, come back, start me up again, and let's see what you can do. So I'm going to take my square, I'm going to fold it horizontally, and yes, I've got a line of symmetry in my square. I'm going to draw a dashed line through it because that's how you're going to see it in the book in a few minutes. All right, is there another line of symmetry in the square? Well, yeah. Going this way. Corner to corner, side to side. Got a mirror image. Once again. There we go. So I've got a vertical line of symmetry. Now, with my rectangle, all I had was 2 lines of symmetry. But let's see if we can make another line of symmetry with our square. This time, let's try to fold our square diagonally. And if you have your Post-it note, you can do this with me. We're going to match corner to corner and side to side, and we're going to see if we get a mirror image. We surely do. So the square has another line of symmetry. Do you see another way we could do it? Some of you guys are like, yes, I do. Here we go. Fold it this way. Ta-da! Got another one. All right, now here's where I have to kind of figure out my lines of symmetry. And if I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, and I start counting like that, then I get a little bit off. So let's figure out together how many lines of symmetry this square has. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and make a tally mark every time I find one. So watch me trace from the top of the square to the bottom. That's 1 line of symmetry. I can even put a 1 right here showing that this is my 1 line. Okay, I know that I did one across my square. So that's another tally, and this could be my 2nd line of symmetry. Remember, I'm going all the way across. I have a line that went from corner to corner here. So that's my 3rd line of symmetry. And then I have a line that went from corner to corner here, and that's my 4th line. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. The square has 4 lines of symmetry. Now, if you're noticing that something special was happening with the square had 4 sides of equal length. We call any shape that has a number of sides that are all equal length, we call that a regular shape. And a square is a regular shape. A rectangle is not regular because it does not have sides that are all of the same length. So this is the square is a regular shape, and so it's going to have the same number of lines of symmetry as it does sides. So the square has 4 lines of symmetry. Now, one more thing. What about a circle? I've got a paper plate right here. How many lines of symmetry do you think we could find on this paper plate? Well, I'm going to take my paper plate and I'm going to fold it. You could also use, if your mom and dad drink coffee, which they probably do, and you don't have, coffee filters sometimes come differently than this. They come in a cone. This one is just a regular flat coffee filter. So once again, you can just kind of grab a coffee filter. Just make sure you spread it all the way out. Now you've got a nice circle. I'm just going to use a paper plate here. I'm going to fold it right down the middle. And yes, I've got a mirror image. Okay, can I fold it differently? Sure. Fold it like this. There's another one. And I was doing dashed lines earlier, so let me go back to doing that. I could fold it this way. I could fold it this way. And I could fold it this way. Oh my word. Do you guys see what's happening? Anybody want to take a guess at how many lines of symmetry there are in the circle? If you said infinite, you are exactly right. There is an infinite number of lines of symmetry in this circle. It's a never-ending number. So this is the mathematical symbol for infinite. It looks like that. It kind of looks like a flattened eight laying on its side. That's not a great look for it. It really kind of looks more like that. But a circle has infinite number of lines of symmetry. So sometimes people will try to trick you and say, how many lines of symmetry are there in a circle? 5, 10, 20? And really, there's an infinite number. All right, so at this point, we've defined symmetry. We've talked about how it is when we can create a mirror image of a shape and we can draw a line to show the mirror images on the opposite sides. We have found lines of symmetry in different objects that we're familiar with. We have been able to see that there's symmetry in letters. Again, please go and listen to me read the book, Finding Symmetry. It is a beautiful book, and I think that you will really enjoy it and see symmetry. There's pictures of it in art and furniture and symbols and letters, and it's a great book. So make sure you listen to me do that read aloud. We've talked about symmetry in some common shapes, rectangles, squares, circles. And now what we're going to do is we are going to see if we can draw some symmetry. So let's take a look again at this template in your book. And in this one, what we're gonna do is we're actually going to pretend that this is the line of symmetry for this shape. So I'm just gonna draw my dotted line this way, and I have to think, how would I continue? What would the other side, on the opposite side of the line of symmetry, look like for this shape? So one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count how many graph squares I've got going up, because the number going up over here is also going to be the number that I have to draw on this side. Do you see that? So let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if there are 4 that I've drawn going up, I've also got to draw 1, 2, 3, 4 going down. That way they're exactly the same. I'm going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4 going down. Okay. I've drawn my line of symmetry here. Now remember, this is a rectangle. I've also got another line of symmetry going vertically. Do I have one going diagonally? No, I don't, because this is a rectangle. Rectangle only has 2 lines of symmetry. Now let's take a look at this. Our figure number 2, we have a trapezoid, or half of a trapezoid, and I want to create the other side of the line of symmetry. So the easiest thing for me to do here is to make the top and the bottom first. I've got to really pay attention how many boxes, how many grid squares were across the top, and there were 2, so that means I'm going to make 2 on the bottom, and then, on the right side, and then I'm going to look on the bottom, and I have 4 down here, so on the bottom, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to connect them. So I've now drawn the other side. All right, so that means that what we've done is we've defined symmetry, we have identified it, and we've also drawn it. What you are going to do today, my friends, is work in your problem set. You are going to work on pages 87 and 88. And when you get down here, there are going to be some that are going to be a little bit more challenging than others. So what you're going to do on number 1, you're going to circle the figures that have a correct line of symmetry. When you get down here, it says to find and draw all lines of symmetry for the following figures. Write the number of lines of symmetry that you found in the blank underneath the shape. So the blank down here at the bottom is where you're going to write the number of lines of symmetry. So for example, I'm going to look back at my template. If this were one of my figures, I would write 1 underneath it because it has 1 line of symmetry. But if this were one of my figures, remember on this one I had 5 lines of symmetry. You're still going to need that straight edge because when you get over here to page 88, having flipping problems here today, you are going to have to finish drawing the lines of symmetry. And then look, there's our circle question, and you get to answer it right here. You also have an exit ticket on Canvas that you're going to complete, and I'd love for you to try that and see what you can do. Now, additionally today, I want you to look for something in your house that has lines of symmetry, and I want you to bring it to our Zoom meeting tomorrow. We have a meeting, not tomorrow, yes, tomorrow. On Tuesday, we have a Zoom meeting, and I'm asking everybody to do sort of a show and tell and bring an item from their house that has lines of symmetry to show the group. In my video where I'm explaining the assignment, I actually show you an object that I use as my example. So you can take a look at that, and then you can begin thinking of what you want to bring. On Thursday, we have a Zoom where it's called Check and Correct. And on Thursday, what we're going to do is we're going to bring our work from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to that meeting, and we're going to check it and make sure that we got everything correct. And we're going to clear up any errors. So make sure that you have put on your calendar to come to our Zoom times this week, Tuesday and Thursday, 2 o'clock. We may go until 3. We may cut off a little earlier. Bring your questions that you have for me. Bring your book so we can go over the different problems that we have worked on. And bring your faces, because I sure do miss you. And I just, I really love seeing you guys on there. So Tuesday, you have an assignment to bring an object that has symmetry. And Thursday, you're bringing me your book and your questions. But you can always email me with questions. I'll be happy to work with you during the week. All right, go have fun finding symmetry. And I look forward to seeing you on Zoom on Tuesday. Adios.